What up, everybody? NeroTheHero here, and welcome to What Are We Talking About? Those of you who might not be familiar with What Are We Talking About, which is probably everyone, I'll explain it real quick. So a while back, my younger brother and I did a video, and I called it What Are We Talking About? And the subject we decided to ramble on about was cooperative play, and just kind of how it fits in with gaming now, how it was back then, and possibly like what it could be like in the future, if at all. So yeah, I was trying to make it a regular thing, but just between keeping up with my content and keeping up with my job, or bills come first, so you definitely gotta make sure all my work gets done before I can do all my quote-unquote work here on YouTube. Anyways, here I am rambling. So what are we talking about today? I decided to talk about a game I had just gotten back into recently, Dragon's Dogma. I originally had played it for the Xbox 360. Yeah, it was a while ago. It's really interesting because this game came out, I believe it was a year after Skyrim did. It was either a year or, it was something. It was either a year or a little bit less than a year. I don't remember exactly. If anyone remembers, just comment below, because I don't recall. I think Skyrim was 2011, and I'm pretty sure Dragon's Dogma was like 2012. So, but anyways, so it's crazy that those games came out so close together, because it was like, it seems kind of crazy because Dragon's Dogma was not on my radar for the longest time. The reason being was because I was all about Elder Scrolls. I love my Elder Scrolls. I love Morrowind. I like playing Morrowind. Oblivion was okay, and then I played Skyrim. I absolutely loved Skyrim. And then there was this other game I heard of from Capcom, and it was called Dragon's Dogma. I'm like, what's this? Whatever, I don't really care that much. It's probably like some weird random Capcom game, because I feel like Capcom, sometimes they make really cool games, and sometimes they make really like not cool games. Don't get me wrong, Capcom has made tons and tons of amazing games. A lot of them people don't even really know about. Oh, if anybody knows what Gotcha Force is, by the way, let me know in the comments below. You get extra bonus points. And if you're my brother, do not comment below, because I already know you know what Gotcha Force is. But anyways, getting back, I'm getting sidetracked. I'd actually seen Gimme Goblin, aka Ryan, and then Mike, aka Drunk Mike Gaming. I saw them put up some videos a while back, and I was like, oh, you know what? I totally downloaded that for PC on Steam. And I just never installed it, and I never played it, because, to be honest with you, I played the crap out of the game before, so I was just like, oh, it would be cool to have, just whenever I feel like the itch to like play some kind of like fantasy RPG that's not Skyrim. So yeah, I saw their videos, and I decided to install it, and I booted it up and everything, and oh my gosh, you guys, I was blown away, first of all, by the graphics. The graphics on the PC for Dragon's Dogma is ridiculous. Like, I thought it looked okay on console. It looked pretty good, but the frame rate was a lot lower. Like, it was probably somewhere around 30 FPS or something like that. But on PC, it runs at 60 frames per second, and full HD textures, all that stuff. So the game, it just looks so very good, like textures and stuff like that. The environment, you got trees like swaying in the breeze. You got grasses reacting to the environment as well. Everything feels really lush, and like you're actually somewhere in an environment that's alive and just green, and just it's awesome. You guys just need to play it for yourselves in order to understand what I'm talking about. Or if you already have it for PC, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So anyways, so yeah, the graphics were amazing, and there was lots of really cool settings in there's lots of settings in the options that will allow you to basically just tune it to where you can either have like the best possible presentation as far as like the graphics, or you can bump the graphics down just a tiny bit if you wanted to have more of a smoother frame rate. That's one thing I really like about PC games, is that there's just so many options depending on like what you want your experience to be like. Now myself, I'm the kind of person who prefers a solid frame rate, a solid smooth frame rate, especially if it's 60 frames a second. I'll prefer that over having like the best looking game, because I usually end up, if I do end up recording anything like that, it ends up going on YouTube anyways, and everybody knows that uploading a video online, it kind of brings down the quality just a little bit, especially on YouTube. with your bitrate and all that stuff. But anyways, I'm getting sidetracked once again. What are we talking about? I was talking about, yeah, all the graphics and stuff. So yeah, the graphics are super nice. Everything looks great. Now, the game itself, as far as gameplay, if any of you guys are familiar with Shadow of the Colossus, it takes a little bit it borrows from those mechanics. It also borrows a bit from Monster Hunter, I guess you can say. Yeah, Monster Hunter definitely has a Monster Hunter type feel. And also I get a little bit of Devil May Cry, only just because I just can't get past this. The running animation for the main character, like the sprinting animation, it just reminds me of Dante from the very first Devil May Cry. So yeah, for that reason, yeah, that's why it reminds me of that. Let's see, what else does it kind of borrow from? Skyrim, of course, being, you know, with the whole sandboxy kind of open world type of deal. Yeah, there's probably a bunch of other games I'm forgetting, but it definitely reminds me of those games, especially Shadow of the Colossus, because one thing that I loved in Shadow of the Colossus was just simply the scale, the feeling, the sense of scale that you get from the monsters that you're climbing, and you know, you're trying to like run around and find their weak points and stuff like that. I just thought that was so cool. I had never seen it in a game before. And you know, Dragon's Dogma, they borrowed from that a little bit. You know, the enemies aren't quite as huge. Well, the dragons are pretty big, so but they're not quite as big as like a Colossus, I would say. Well, maybe there might be the exception of something that I don't want to talk about because spoilers. But anyways, you guys you really need to play the game yourself. It's been out a long time. It's been out long enough, so whatever. If I spoil anything, whatever. I'm pretty sure like the final boss that you fight, the basically the main kind of like antagonist of the game, I'm pretty sure he's pretty huge. But anyways, yeah, Shadow of the Colossus, that's definitely one of those games that they definitely borrowed from that, and they did it pretty darn well, I must say, as far as like the whole climbing up and stuff. You know, the camera does get a little weird sometimes if I'm climbing a monster and there's like trees around. Like the camera will kind of try to adjust itself to, I think it thinks that it's helping, but it's really not. And, you know, if ever there was a situation where I had to quote unquote fight the camera, it's definitely been in this game. So that's definitely something that it kind of can be an annoyance sometimes, but you know, the overall experience of the game itself is pretty cool. Now, one thing that, you know, I'm just kind of talk about, just kind of intermixed, just stuff that I like about the game and stuff that I think could be improved. Now, as far as stuff that could be improved, I feel like definitely the camera, as far as just having a little more control over it, especially when you're climbing a gigantic ferocious beast or something like that. I would also say if there was something I could improve, it would be the quest system and how they lay out the quests for you and everything, because I'm not gonna lie to you guys, the quests are a little sometimes they can be a little annoying, just not because of the quests themselves, just because of how they're structured. Now, what I mean by that is, okay, so you can be playing through the game, playing through the game and everything, whatnot, right? So there are certain quests that are part of the main story, right? So, and then there are other quests that are considered side quests, just kind of like stuff that you do on the side to gain more experience and money, so you can, you know, get loot and, you know, conquer, you know? So, okay, so anyways, so the quests. So if you, say for example, if you have, say like 5 side quests active, and you go and you activate a main story quest, the main story quest will basically lock out all of those side quests, because it's the game is like, oh, you want to progress the plot of the story, okay, so we're going to forget everything that you were doing and then just cancel all that stuff and then move the story along. I don't know why they decided to go with that. Maybe, you know, I can't really think of a reason why they decided to go that route, because I feel like side quests should be indefinite. They should be there whenever you want to complete them, right? That's kind of like, that's kind of the whole premise behind the side quests. So I don't understand why they did that. You know, if they ever were to make a Dragon's Dogma 2, which I have heard talk about that, and I really hope that they do make a second one, because this first one was a really good game. I just feel like there's some stuff that they could definitely improve on. Yeah, so yeah, just stop. Don't make main story quests cancel out side quests. Just don't do it. Another thing that I would improve is I would put more NPCs and stuff in the, it's kind of the, it's not really an overworld because it's just really just kind of the map. Well, no, I guess it's technically an overworld. Yeah, it's kind of an overworld. I would like to see more characters and stuff just kind of walking around and doing things in the overworld. Now this is a thing that this is a problem I had with Skyrim as well, because I felt like it just felt really empty at certain points when I'm walking around or running around exploring things. I'm just like, I wish there were more like characters and stuff to interact with, even if it's just like somebody like just kind of like pause, just taking a break on the side of the road or something like that. Go up to them, have a conversation. Some of them could even be quest givers. Who knows? Like, I know Skyrim had their whole Radiant system, and I'm pretty sure Dogma doesn't have anything close to that. But it would have been kind of cool to incorporate something kind of like that into the whole quest system, and at the same time you'd be putting more content into the game itself, thus making it more enjoyable. In my opinion, these are all just my opinions, you guys. I don't know if I mentioned that before, but these are just all my opinions. If you agree with me, if you disagree with me, I don't care either way. Let's just have a discussion. Like, even if anything, this is one thing I always, this is one saying I always like, is that the most interesting conversations are the people you disagree with. So if anyone out there thinks this is the perfect game, please let me know, and let me know why you think it's perfect, because there are a lot of things about this game which are really, really, really good. And there's just really not that many things that I would want to improve. They're just like things that I feel like would make the game even better. Like, if they were to delay the game like another 6 months even, just so they can just add a little more content, just kind of flesh out the game a little bit more, that would have been awesome. And I feel like it would have been more of a complete game. However, I feel like this particular game was kind of more or less of a beta test, I guess you can say. Not really a beta test, but because I had never really seen a Western style RPG from Capcom before. So maybe they were just kind of testing the waters, seeing if people like it, seeing how people like it. And maybe they already had plans to make a sequel depending on, the reaction they get from the audience and stuff like that. But, I'm pretty confident that they're going to be coming out with a sequel. I really hope so. And yeah, putting aside all my feelings for Capcom as a company, they've done some stuff in the past that like a lot of people are really pissed off about, but it is what it is. And at the end of the day, for me anyways, it's all about the game. If the game is good, awesome. If it sucks, then you stole money from me. Well, you didn't steal money from me, but anyways, that's getting into a whole nother thing about, games that are overhyped and stuff like that, which kind of brings me to my next point. I was kind of thinking about Dragon's Dogma, and I was thinking, like, was this game overhyped? I don't think it was, because it's a really good game. I mean, I don't feel like there's anything that was promised in the game that wasn't there. But then again, it wasn't really on my radar until it came out, so so that's not really necessarily fair of me to say. But yeah, as far as stuff that I would improve, I'm just talking more about stuff that I would improve in the game, is I would definitely add some dang multiplayer, because oh my gosh, if this game was multiplayer, if it was online, you can just hop online and co-op with some buddies, you can just squad up, party up, and just go and just like hunt monsters. Even like it doesn't even necessarily have to have a plot. the online play, you can just go run around and just slay monsters. I know Gimme Goblin, that's all he does in his videos. He runs around and kills monsters, and it is so much fun. It's so fun to watch too at the same time. So at the same time, if you were to make it co-op, that would give you the opportunity to experiment with some larger type of monsters, like I'm talking like giants and just huge stuff, just things that are just much bigger, and it would just be really cool to see just like an enormous dragon, and then just like 10 to 15 like Arisens just kind of like climbing all over him and attacking him like ants or something like that. I just feel like that would be something really cool to see. And I actually heard that there is a Dragon's Dogma online, but it's only overseas right now, and I just, that breaks my dang heart if that's true. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that there's an online one, but it's overseas right now. I really hope that they bring it to the States. Please, you guys, we have not gotten so many games. Just give us this one. You guys did not give me Phantasy Star Online 2. Give me this one at least. I'm talking to just Japan in general. Like, yeah. But anyways, yeah, I mean, making that into like an MMO, that would be spectacular. I feel like that would be totally awesome. Now, another thing that a lot of you in the comment section are probably already commenting about is the pawn chatter. Oh my gosh. The pawns, they can be helpful. Don't get me wrong, pawns can be very helpful, but sometimes they can just talk and say the same things over and over and over and over again. It's like, I kind of wish they had kind of built something into the AI to the pawns to where it's like, oh, I've already said this, so he probably already knows about it, so I probably shouldn't say it anymore. However, there is an option to turn off the pawn chatter. However, you know, I don't necessarily like that because I like how they give me advice and stuff. I just don't like how they spam the advice or the helpful tips. Like, I know like 90% of, I already know 90% of the monsters in Dragon's Dogma have a weakness to fire. That much I can tell you. It's weak to fire. But anyways, yeah, that's really, like I said, that's really just another one of those minor annoyances. Other than that, it would be kind of neat if NPCs or enemy mobs were to drop their equipment, because I've seen a lot of really cool equipment on some of the NPCs, and you know, they just don't drop it. You know, it doesn't have to be like Skyrim or Elder Scrolls where like you can like loot them for everything that they're wearing. You know, it doesn't necessarily have to be like that. It would be a little more realistic, I guess, in a sense. But you know, I would just like to be able to get, you know, some loot drops or like maybe a cool weapon or something off of an enemy, because I feel like I get most of them either from buying them or from finding them. Because I've pretty much found all of the good swords that I'm using right now, except for one, and that's the golden bastard sword. I was using that for my fighter character for a while, and actually you get that from completing a quest. I forgot which quest it actually is, but oh, I remember. It was that one quest where it was like some guy, he'd lost like a purse full of money, or like a snakeskin purse. You had to find a snakeskin purse somewhere. And but yeah, so you get a really cool sword for that. And cool thing about that sword is that it actually invokes silence. So it's really good to use on enemies if they're spamming a lot of magic and stuff like that. Like I know there's those bandit mages and stuff like that like to pop up every so often. So definitely yeah, if you guys play the game and you're not familiar with that particular weapon, yeah, just go and hop into I forget what the quest is called, but basically the objective is to find a snakeskin purse. And yeah, that's pretty much it as far as that goes. Moving right along, you know, guys, to be honest with you, I think that's kind of everything I wanted to talk about, unless there was something that pops into my head randomly. Overall, it's a really, really cool game, and it's a really, really, really good port. I feel like PC ports are getting better as time goes on, and that's only a good thing. I mean, it only makes sense that PC ports are getting more efficient because consoles are becoming more like PCs anyways, as far as like the hardware and stuff like that. You know, minus a few differences, but for the most part, they're PCs. Yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to ramble on about Dragon's Dogma a little bit, and if you guys wanted to chat it up in the comments section about Dragon's Dogma, or if there's a secret that you guys know about, or something like some cool area you guys want me to explore, because I have not explored too much of the game. I'm mostly grinding right now. I haven't really progressed the story, so I'm just kind of trying to fill out the map and just kind of just explore stuff. So if you guys know of anything, just hit me up in the comments. Likewise, you know, if I can think of any like cool secrets and stuff, I will definitely let you guys know. That's gonna pretty much do it for this edition of What Are We Talking About? Dragon's Dogma. This is NeroTheHero signing out. Until then, you guys, take care of yourselves and each other and do something heroic today. Alright guys, catch you on the next one. Peace.